Hello, Together for Peace. This is Dark Tango 78, replying to your video, Atheists' Irrational Purpose in Life. Now, the question you ask is it rational for an atheist to believe their life has purpose? And then you go into a definition of what it is to be rational or to have a rational justification. And the first part is correct, but then you add it has to be based on evidence or scientific proof. Well, no, this is not the case. And here you're confusing an empirical reason for belief versus just a rational justification, which by definition just means that you have reasons for believing something. Now, whenever you have reasons to believe in something, you create a chain of reasons, because whenever you give a reason for something, you can ask, well, what justifies that reason? And in turn, when you give reasons for that reason, what justifies those reasons? And so you have a chain of justifications until you finally come to something that is self-evident, which cannot have justification, because you would either have, if the chain of justification is not finite, you either have something that is an infinite regression of reasons, which just would not make sense, or you have a circular justification, which also is not a good way to support things. A circular chain does not support itself. You eventually have to come to something that is axiomatic, that is self-evident. And I think that is what atheists, or at least I can only speak for myself, when I talk about purpose in life, I have to link it to something that I consider to be a self-evident reason. For example, I love my family, I want to see them happy, and I have friends, and I have my pursuits, my own interests. Those things cannot have further justification because they are just basically self-evident, and just like any other chain of justification, must eventually have a terminus. It must eventually reach something that is axiomatic, self-evident. Now, I replied to you in a previous video asking about the purpose of God, and I want to link it back here because essentially I see a hidden criticism in your question. You're saying, well, do atheists, can atheists have a rational purpose or a rational reason to believe that they have a purpose in life, meaning that theists can, because their purpose is given to them by God? Well, I see essentially you're just extending this chain of support, of reasons, just only one link further and linking it to God. Because eventually when you reach God, God's purpose cannot be external. Nobody can give God a purpose for being. The purpose of God must necessarily come from within himself. So you've only just extended the link of support for your rational reasons to have a purpose, one link further, and that is extending it to God. All right, I think that's all the points I wanted to cover. Oh, one more. You made a point about finite knowledge. You say, well, I can't know for certain that you can't account for your belief because I only have finite knowledge. Well, essentially, just because you have finite knowledge doesn't mean you can't say that something does not exist. And if you truly were to point out a contradiction, then you could really guarantee that something does not exist. For example, you could say, I can guarantee that there is no atheist that is a married bachelor, because that is an inherent contradiction. It doesn't matter that your knowledge is finite. If two things are contradictory, you can fully and confidently assert that such a thing does not exist. So in summary, I guess, is that something is rational if you have reasons to support it by definition. Reasons can only go in chains, so if you have a reason, you have reasons to support the reason, but eventually you come to a terminus, which is something that you consider to be self-evident, because the only other alternatives would be an infinite chain of justification or a circular one. And the atheist only stops one step short of what the theist's purpose in life is, and he just removes the link connecting to God. All right. that does sum up everything, and looking forward to your thoughts. Thank you.